Hi everybody, welcome back to Top Dog Tips for those of you who have visited our site or watched videos on our channel before. And for those of you that haven't, welcome. It's great to have first-time viewers as well. I do all kinds of different videos for our site, and today I wanted to make a how-to video for you guys about how to puppy-proof your home. This is a common question that I get asked by new pet parents especially, but you may not necessarily be a new pet parent and just new to parenting a puppy. Puppy-proofing is something that you need to take very seriously. I think it's something that a lot of pet parents don't realize how serious it is, because puppies are so cute and fun, and it's a lot easier to see all those positive things than it is to think about a lot of the dangers that come with raising a puppy as well. And just like raising an infant or a toddler, puppies are fast and they get into everything, and it only takes them a second to get into some really serious trouble and potentially be a danger to themselves. So it's something that you do need to take very seriously. Of course, it's going to depend on your home and your environment. But that's something that should be thought about before you ever adopt a puppy. When you first start thinking that maybe a puppy is right for your family, that's when it's time to start thinking about puppy proofing. I think that begins with thinking about the puppy that you're going to get, and that should be something that you definitely take into consideration. Your environment and as well as your lifestyle. You want to find a puppy that's going to meet your needs or your family's needs. And of course your environment. So if you're living in, for example, a small apartment, a Great Dane puppy probably isn't the right choice for you. If you have a good-sized home with a nice yard and you like to live an active lifestyle, you have small children that are looking forward to playing with a puppy, maybe you're a single person and you just want to have a dog to be active with and to play with and to interact with. A lazier breed like an English Bulldog maybe isn't the best choice for you. You want a breed that's a little bit more lively. So it's something to think about and something to take into consideration. Certainly take your environment into consideration when you're thinking about that. If you bring, for example, a Great Dane into a small apartment, you're going to have to do a lot more puppy proofing. Typically, the bigger the dog, the more puppy proofing that's going to be needed, because they're going to be able to reach more things and get into more things. They're stronger, so they can get past certain barriers and things like that. So take that into consideration. If you do have the space for a large breed, just remember that picking something up and putting it up on a shelf maybe isn't going to help if you have a Great Dane that can reach that shelf, or just simply putting up a pet gate that uses pressure to go in the space of a door. If you've got a very large dog, they may be able to either jump over that pet gate or knock it over. So these are some things to consider when puppy proofing. How much time do you have to spend puppy proofing? How much money do you have to spend to puppy proof your house, your home? So those are some things to think about when you're choosing a puppy. Once you've selected a puppy that you feel is going to meet your environment, then it's time to get down to the puppy proofing. And the first thing that I recommend is to make a designated area, a smaller area for your puppy. You don't want to just give them the run of your entire house. We have a 3-story home with 4 bedrooms and 3 bathrooms. If we let a puppy loose in this house, we wouldn't be able to puppy-proof this entire house. They would still find something to be able to get into to hurt themselves, or to destroy our property. So what I would suggest is a puppy playpen or play yard. Crate training is one of the absolute best ways to help to house train a puppy and to keep them safe while you're not around. Play yards and play pens. You can get puppy gates if you have. A lot of people do it in like a laundry room or an entryway or somewhere where the floor is either linoleum or tile, something that's easy to clean, and where there's not a lot of things that the puppy can get into. So that might be an option in your home as well. But find a small area that the puppy can be in when you're not able to supervise him 100%, that that small area is 100% safe. So if you need to leave the house, or if you're doing dishes, if you're busy on a phone call, whatnot, your puppy can be in his designated area and that it's 100% safe. So you'll have that area, and of course that area will be away from all dangerous things. It'll have only puppy safe things in it, his toys, maybe a blanket or a bed, something like that. But he will have that one designated area, but of course you're going to want your puppy to be able to wander around your home and get used to your home as well. So that's where puppy proofing really comes into play. The first thing that you need to do is remove any dangers. Now, like I said, this is going to vary depending on the size of your dog, and it's also going to vary depending on your home. So when I say dangers, of course, things like chemicals and toxins, things that they can get into if you have medication that's down low or something like that. But think about, walk through your house room by room and really think about it. Is there hand sanitizer somewhere where your puppy could get into it? We had one time a puppy, we have a Swiffer floor cleaner, and if you don't know what a Swiffer is, it's like a mop with, it has cleaning solution actually attached to it that the mop has a battery operated sprayer that sprays the cleaning fluid out so that you can clean your floors easier. So anyway, we had a Swiffer. It was leaning up against the wall, kind of in the corner of the kitchen where we always kept it, and it was something that I never thought about. Now we had a puppy who actually chewed the bottle of that cleaner, and thankfully she chewed it kind of in the middle of the bottle, and it was running low on solution, so she actually didn't get any solution out of it before we realized what she was doing. But that could have been a very dangerous situation. The cleaners in that are full of chemicals and toxins, and had our dog gotten that into her mouth and ingested that, we would have had a major problem. So things like that you don't necessarily think about on a day-to-day basis. You might not use them every day. It might be something that you do, like hand sanitizer. You use it every day. You're so used to it that you don't even think about it. So walk through your home, take an inventory of those things, and make sure that any kind of toxins, chemicals, poisons, anything like that are put away. One thing that I know some pet parents have not even thought about is they have poison out for rats or mice or ants, or any kind of a pest infestation like that. If your puppy gets into that, it's going to be very, very, very dangerous. So things like that you might think, you tucked into a corner somewhere and it's hidden or something like that. Think about all of those things. Go through your house room by room and think about all those things. Once you get rid of all the chemicals and the toxins, you can move on to some of the more dangerous things like electrical cords. That's one thing that a lot of people don't think about, that puppies can chew on electrical cords, which is obviously very dangerous. One, for the fact that they could electrocute themselves, but two, electrical cords are also a choking hazard. If your puppy sees it and wants to play with it and kind of bats it around and somehow gets it wrapped around his neck, that's going to be a choking hazard very quickly. If he's playing with it and pulling on it and biting it and it pops out of the wall and it becomes this long loose cord, it could easily wrap around his neck. So electrical cords are something you want to make sure you have secured in any area that your puppy is going to go into. Very serious thing to think about. The other thing that, just going back to the poisons and the toxins, I just thought of was houseplants. That's another thing that a lot of pet parents don't realize and don't think about. There are many houseplants and plants out in your yard too that are dangerous. They're toxic to dogs and they will kill your dog if your dog ingests them. So know your houseplants. If you don't know if it's poisonous or not to dogs, just look it up online. It's very quick. You should never keep a plant in your home or out in your yard that you don't know the name of it. That's something that's very dangerous as a pet parent, to have plants around that you're not sure what they are. So if you have one that you don't know what it is, maybe find a new home for that plant, give it to a friend or a family member, and bring in plants that you know what they are. Do a quick search online, make sure those are safe for your dog, and if they're not safe for your dog, make sure that you put them somewhere, if you're not going to give them away, where they are absolutely 100% out of your dog's reach. So just to go back to the toxins on that one. So we talked about the toxins, the poisons, house plants, electrical cords. You also want to look for cords on drapes and blinds hanging on your windows. The blinds that as you pull the blind up, the cord gets longer. If that cord is long and dangling down, again, that's another choking hazard. Drapes that are long can be a hazard for small puppies. They can chew those and get those wrapped around themselves. And it's not just a choking hazard either. If those get wrapped around a leg or and cut off circulation, can be dangerous. They could get wrapped around a limb, and when the dog's struggling to get out, he could break that limb or do disconnect the shoulder or something like that. So anything that dangles down like that, drapes, the blinds, the string for those, just make sure that those are either up where the puppy's not going to be able to reach them, or secure those up, tie those up somewhere so that the dog's not going to be able to reach them. Another thing to think about is heat sources. Do you have we have a wood stove in our home, which is down in the basement, so the dogs can't get to it, but we also have electric heat backup, and the registers on the wall get very warm, and they actually get warm enough that they would melt plastic if there was plastic up against them. So that's something that you want to be very wary of. And if you have a puppy play yard or something set up, if you're putting up a baby gate or a pet gate to keep your dog in somewhere, make sure that those heaters either aren't on or that your dog doesn't have access to those, because those can be very dangerous. Some people use space heaters and things like that, so be very wary of any heat sources that your dog might be able to be around. And then of course small objects. Puppies are like babies, they put everything in their mouths. So if you have small objects lying around, if you have children, toys, we have small children and they leave toys everywhere, you need to make sure that that stuff is all picked up, and your dog's not going to be able to get his mouth on any small objects that could be swallowed and could turn into a choking hazard. And the last thing that I would caution you to make sure that you have picked up and out of the way of your dog is your garbage. And a lot of people don't think about that. They might think about the fact that their dog would tip it over and make a mess, but you don't realize that some of the stuff that's in your garbage might be toxic to your dog. Garlic is something that in high dosage can be very lethal, can actually be lethal to your dog. So if you had a clove of garlic that you threw in the trash can or something like that, onions, apple seeds, there are some very odd things that you don't realize that are harmful to dogs that you actually might throw out. Grapes and raisins, things like that. If your dog is in the trash and you've thrown something out that could potentially be poisonous or toxic to him, your dog's not going to know any different, and he's going to go ahead and dig through that trash and eat some of it, and it could be very dangerous. So those are things that we know family friends who had a dog that swallowed a battery. It was in the trash can. It was just a regular AA battery. And of course there are battery acid in batteries. So they noticed that he had swallowed a battery when he had gotten into the garbage, and they had to rush him to the emergency vet. So there are things in the trash that can be very dangerous for your dog, not necessarily just the inconvenience of having to pick it up. Obviously none of us like that either, but you need to be very careful about the things that are in your garbage. So if you have a cupboard or a cabinet that you can put your garbage in, that's the best thing. If you have a trash compactor or a garbage disposal, something like that, you can get rid of the trash. And if you can't do that, just make sure that your trash is somewhere where your dog can't easily access it and knock it over to get into it. Some people secure the lids of their garbage can. I know we just have a traditional plastic garbage can, but what we did was just very quickly, it took my husband maybe 5 minutes. He drilled 4 holes through the lid and through the trash can itself, and then just used zip ties to secure the lid onto the trash can. And we don't secure the bag obviously around the rim of the trash can anymore. We just kind of sit the bag in there. So it's a little bit different, but that's just the way that we figured that would be best, because we have 2 puppies in our house right now. You can pick the trash up when you leave. Some people, when they are home, they're watching their dog, and when they leave, they just set it up on a counter or the table or something like that so their dog can't get into it. But make sure that trash is secure. So once you've gone through your home, and like I said, go room by room and just really make sure that if it's a room that your dog's going to be in, everything is secured and puppy-proofed. If it's a room that your dog's not going to be in, bathrooms, dogs should not go in bathrooms. believe it or not, there have been puppies that have drowned in toilets. They climb up in there and fall in and they can't get out. So it sounds silly, but the trash in bathrooms actually can be very bad for dogs as well. You use a lot more chemicals, makeup, shampoo bottles, things like that have a lot of chemicals in them are typically in your bathroom trash. Some people throw diapers, baby diapers, feminine hygiene products, things like that you don't realize, but anything like that has that gel that absorbs stuff is very detrimental to your dog. So there's tons of stuff in bathroom trashes that will really do a number on your dog. So you want to make sure bathroom doors should always be shut, and your dog should be allowed to go, your puppy should be allowed to go in there until he's house trained. Your dog should stay out of the kitchen. There are so many cleaners and things like that. The garbage is in the kitchen. So think places where your dog shouldn't go. A lot of people have nice open kitchens, so there's no way to close a door and keep your dog out, which is completely understandable. You just need to really make sure that you go through and puppy proof as much as possible. So keep them out of the rooms that they shouldn't access if there's no way to keep them out, or the rooms that you do want them to access. Just go through that room, make sure that you find everything that you can, go through from down one wall, around the other, look at everything, look at every little detail. Have a family member or a friend come over and help you, because sometimes you're so used to it because it's your home that you don't notice some of that stuff. So have somebody else come over. A second pair of eyes sometimes can be very beneficial. And then the other thing that you're going to want to do is get down on your puppy's level, and I know that sounds silly too, but getting down on the ground on all fours and just looking around. Sometimes you notice things that you wouldn't necessarily notice being as tall as you are, because you just don't see things on that level. So for example, there may be like a video game controller or something on a low shelf that has a long cord. You never know what things could be hiding around your home. So get down on your dog's level, and I know you're gonna feel foolish down on all fours in the middle of your living room, but do that, get down, look around, see what you can find, and if there's something that you can get into. You don't necessarily, if you can think like a dog, that's great, but just think like a toddler, think like a little kid. What would you wanna get into? What looked like fun? What looked like an exciting thing to tear into? And remember that, if there's, for example, a video game controller with a long cord, that looks like fun to a little kid, that looks like fun to a puppy. So you want to put that stuff up. Hand sanitizer, it doesn't look great to us, but to a dog, there's something in that bottle, and when they start biting it and squish it around, they want to get in there. So think like a dog, get down like a dog, make yourself take inventory of your entire home, and I can't stress that enough. You really need to go through room by room and puppy proof. Make sure that everything is going to be safe for your new puppy. Remember that puppy stage doesn't last forever. Your dog's going to be house trained in a few months, and you'll be able to go back to living life like normal. It's a small inconvenience for the safety of your dog. So puppy proofing is definitely something that we need to take very seriously. If you have any questions about puppy proofing, anything that I haven't covered in this video, any additional questions that you might have, feel free to ask those. You can email me at any time. My email is samantha@topdogtips.com, and I'm happy to answer your questions always. You can find information on our website, which is topdogtips.com. We are on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Google+. Of course, if you're watching this on YouTube, you can subscribe to our YouTube channel. Any way that you ask questions, they'll get back to me. And of course, I urge you to subscribe to our channel if you are a pet owner or a pet lover. If you're interested in dog-related things, definitely subscribe to our social media, and you can jump on our website and subscribe to our newsletter. And that way you'll get all the latest information when I post new how-to videos. I do product reviews, product comparisons, all kinds of different videos. I share recipes. So if you subscribe to those things, you will get notified of those when they pop up. I do many of those every week, so you'll be able to get all of that information as soon as it's available. So I urge you guys to do that. And again, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out to me. I will see you guys back in a few days with another great how-to video. Thanks, guys. Have a wonderful day.